Krishna Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So let's just have anyone could give us a little indicator or can let us know what we studied last week. Any remember I showed a few notes that I had made. Bit of a test for you.
Let's have a look.
I can give you a few clues. And we discussed these. We were speaking about the potencies of the Lord. Of course, Haridas, Lord Chaitanya is inquiring from Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur is, you could say, the mouthpiece for reciting the glories of the holy name. Lord Chaitanya knows the glories of the holy name. But in his humility and in order to glorify Haridas Thakur, he asks him specific questions. And Haridas Thakur begins describing about the vibhu or the opulences of the Lord, Chit Vaibhav, and the Jiva Tattva. And Jiva Tattva is marginal potency. You remember this? Vaguely remember?
Yes.
Yes. And Chit Vaibhav includes the internal potency, includes the name, the abode of the Lord, the forms, qualities, and pastimes, and specifically the names. The name of the Lord is the same spiritual constitution as the abode of the Lord, his qualities and pastimes. Then we spoke a little bit about Sandini, the existence potency, Samvit, the knowledge potency, and Hladini, the bliss of spiritual emotions. Ringing a bell, as they say. Then described Sudasattva, that constitutes Sudasattva. And there's Mishra Sattva. Mishra means, anyone know what Mishra means? Like Yoga Mishra, Kama Mishra.
Mixed.
Mixed, yeah, that's it. Very good. Mishra Sattva, that's the material world. All the pure forms of Govinda, Mahavishnu, they're never affected by that. So that's all beyond the Viraj river. We exist the other side in the abode of Bhogadam, also known as Bhogadam, consists of 7 higher and 7 lower planetary systems. And that's where the Jiva is. By misuse of his marginal aspect, he's in the world of self-aggrandizement or selfish pleasure, selfishness or pleasure to directed towards the self instead of Krishna. So therefore 8,400,000 species of life. And then
Following the Varnashram system.
Yeah, you got it. Well done. Yeah, following the Varna. What did he say about that? Why is that brought up? Noble Sahachari, you can see.
Because it's not no pure devotional attitude. There are some things: piety from fruitive activities, piety from cultivation of knowledge, piety from devotional services. It is like bhakti unmukha sukruti.
Yeah.
And
yeah, go on. Okay.
And you define the 4 yugas, what they represent. Satya Yuga is for meditation, Treta Yuga is for opulent sacrifices, Dwapara Yuga is for the deity worship, and Kali Yuga is for the chanting of the holy name. And we ended there.
Great. You've almost got the exact notes that I have.
Yes, because we've been writing down, but now look. We're all writing down. We've been writing down in our
Great.
Writing down, yes.
Fantastic.
Follow. And then actually you did collection of verses, different method of meditation on the holy name. Yeah, like that he was telling.
Okay, that was from last week's reading in class.
Yeah, after that. Well, maybe I wrote it down as extra.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. So let's go into chapter 2 then, and see what we have in store. I've made notes on chapter 2 as well, but I can I was going to share it, but I won't be able to. But I can, if we want, we can go over it again afterwards. Notes to kind of clarify what we have learned from chapter 2. So let's, Samudhara Radhika, you can begin this chapter 2, which is called Chanting the Holy Name.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Chanting the holy name. All glories to Sri Gadadhar Pandit and Lord Sri Gauranga. All glories to Lord Nityananda, the life of Srimati Janava Devi. All glories to Sri Advaita Acharya and Mother Sita. All glories to Srila Srivas Pandit and to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Srila Haridas continued to weep in ecstatic love. Lord Gaurachandra encircled him with his arms in a loving embrace and said, "O Haridas, a devotee of your caliber is rarely found. You are well versed in all spiritual conclusions, and you are always unaffected by Maya. Taking birth in a low family and caste, you have proven to the world that Lord Krishna is not obtained merely by amassing wealth, position, lineage, or refinement. Whoever has developed unflinching faith in unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Lord is factually superior to the demigods. You are learned in all the truths of the holy name of the Lord. Your spiritual conduct is exemplary, and you are an expert preacher. So Haridas, kindly reveal to me the unlimited glories of the holy name. Allow me to savor your words. One who chants the holy name even once is considered a Vaishnava devotee. He should be respected by the householders. The devotee who constantly chants Krishna's name is a more elevated Vaishnava, for he is endowed with all good qualities. The most advanced Vaishnava of all is he who inspires others who see him to immediately chant the Lord's name. When he chants the holy name even once, attraction to rendering continuous devotional service to the Lord is instantly established. Kindly tell me how the Jivas can be made to chant the Lord's name in this manner. Please reveal to me this all-auspicious prescription. Srila Haridas clasped his hands together, his eyes brimming with tears and voice choked in spiritual love. He began his reply in soft, gentle tones. Lord Krishna's name is like an eternal and transcendental touchstone. A touchstone can grant all desirable objects. The touchstone of Lord Krishna's holy name can give religiosity, wealth, sense pleasure, and liberation to a materialistic person. To a surrendered devotee, it offers pure love of Krishna. Lord Krishna and his holy names are identical. They are one and the same, absolute truth, the all-inclusive yet supremely independent form of dynamic spirituality, full of emotion without beginning or end. Always situated in pure goodness, the holy name descends to this world in the shape of letters as the complete incarnation and embodiment of the highest sweetness, rasa. Any object is known by 4 characteristic features: name, form, qualities, and activities. Lord Krishna is the supreme object. Thus, he is knowable in terms of his unlimited and eternal name, form, qualities, and pastimes. The absence of these 4 features in anything denies its status as object. For example, impersonal Brahman is formless, hence it is not an object unto itself, but simply a distinctive trait of the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna is the non-dual absolute object who perfectly manifests himself in these 4 features. These features are fully potent and able to express him in totality. They exist and are sustained by the Lord's Sandhini, eternal existence potency. They are eternal and transcendental, as Lord Krishna attracts all living entities. Similarly, the holy name, which is non-different from him, also attracts everyone. Lord Krishna's exquisite form is non-different from him, and Krishna's name and form are likewise identical. Remembering and chanting Krishna's name immediately invokes his beautiful form in the mind, and both reside there harmoniously. Similarly, Lord Krishna's 64 qualities are of an unlimited and transcendental character.
Perhaps if you pause there, because the next paragraph is quite long. It's going to be actually listing Krishna's 64 qualities. Yeah. So there's a question that's asked here, which is quite significant in the beginning. Well, first of all, there's been some explanation, and this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita as well, you might recognize, where Lord Chaitanya was asked, who is a Vaishnava? So the answer is here, one who chants the holy name once. That's considered to be a Vaishnava. So that's quite generous, because, you know, today actually I was going around town in my dhoti and someone said, Hare Krishna. So that makes that person a Vaishnava according to this definition. And then one who's constantly chanting, they're more elevated. Yeah, so on. And then what's the most advanced? Again, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the most advanced Vaishnava is one who
inspires others.
Yeah, that's it. Inspires others to chant. So a wonderful example of that is Srila Prabhupada. Inspired practically, not, we could say we will enthusiastically say the whole world. But perhaps there's a few who have not quite got the message yet. But anyway, Prabhupada inspired people all over the world to chant the holy name. So the question then comes up is how, Lord Chaitanya is asking how can the Jivas be made to chant the Lord's name? So that question often comes up, isn't it? How can we get people to engage in devotion? So specifically, Lord Chaitanya wants to hear how the Jivas can chant the holy name. Yeah. I've got little pictures here, but I can't see. But the holy name is compared to a touchstone. So it can give everything. What can it give? All desirable objects. Yeah. It can give religiosity, wealth, sense pleasure, and liberation. Anyone want those things? If you're nodding your head. No, so I'm just remembering Satyananda Maharaj, he speaks, when he speaks about the Gayatri mantra, he speaks about the principle of the Gayatri mantra in that it also has the effect of fulfilling all desires. So he brings up the point, be careful of your thoughts when you're chanting Gayatri. So, and some people will grossly, from our point of view, will grossly use the holy name to fulfill, to get sense pleasure, to get wealth, to get, yeah, etc. But they're materialistic. So they are cheated by the holy name. Because the real gift of the holy name is love of God, yeah. To fall in love with Krishna. Yeah. And that happens because the holy name is identical. So, you know, the holy name is like a touchstone. So touchstone is a mystical alchemical process that anything it touches, sometimes it's described as anything it touches turns to gold. Sometimes it's described that if it touches iron, it turns it into gold. So it could also like a wish-fulfilling desire tree. You know, so we have to be careful. Otherwise, the holy name could keep us in the material world for billions of births. Yeah, so-called enjoying material objects. So, and also, yeah, any other, I'm just going over my notes on this page. And if you've got some reflections on or something that inspires you, what you heard or read,
You know, some years ago, I heard about Sachinandan Maharaj. I don't know where he was, and he was hurt. And I think he couldn't move, and he was chanting the Gayatri mantra. And then where he was hurt, it just disappeared.
Yeah, I
And
vaguely remember that story. Yeah, and Maharaj in his book about the Gayatri, he mentions about meditation on Krishna's different pastimes to alleviate different health problems. It's actually there described, but that's not the focus of Vaishnavas as such. But anyway, Maharaj was putting it to the test to prove the efficiency of the holy name of the Gayatri. Yeah. Yeah, and I like specifically that the holy name, where was that? Where was it? It said it's, the holy name descends to the world. So Krishna descends to the world in the shape of letters. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a complete incarnation of the Lord. It's all of the Chit Vaibhav, so it's not different from his form, qualities, and pastimes. So all those become revealed. And then at the end, it said, in my notes here, that move this. Yes, remembering and chanting Krishna's holy name immediately invokes his beautiful form in the mind.
Yeah.
And both reside there harmoniously. So the holy name and Krishna. And then he goes on. If Krishna's there, that means all his 64 qualities are there, complete. So we may or may not have that experience. As soon as we chant the holy name, then immediately invokes these beautiful. So that's a particular type of chanting, more pure chanting. Yeah, there's different levels of chanting, which will be explained here. Nam Aparad. The next chapter is about Nama Bas, which is the clearing stage, then Sudanam. So I presume here he's referring to Sudanam, where the Lord immediately appears. All right. So let's now then hear about Krishna and his 64 qualities. It's going to be a long list of his qualities, which remember that we studied this or we looked at this in our Nectar of Devotion. So it's very good to go over these qualities. So let's have a Raj Kishore. You could read the next page.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes. The 64 transcendental, no, that's Krishna's 64 transcendental qualities. Lord Krishna's exquisite form is non-different from him, and Krishna's name and form are likewise identical. Remembering, chanting Krishna's name immediately invokes his beautiful form in the mind, and both reside there harmoniously. Similarly, Lord Krishna's 64 qualities are of the unlimited and transcendental character. The 64 transcendental qualities of Krishna are as follows. 1. Beautiful features of the entire body. 2. Marked with all auspicious characteristics. 3. Extremely pleasing. 4. Effulgent. 5. Strong. 6. Ever youthful. 7. A wonderful linguist. 8. Truthful. 9. Talks pleasingly. 10. Can speak fluently in all languages. 11. Highly learned. 12. Highly intelligent. 13. A genius. 14. Artistic. 15. Extremely clever. 16. Expert. 17. Grateful. 18. Firmly determined. 19. An expert judge of time and circumstances. 20. Sees and speaks on the authority of Vedas. 21. Pure. 22. Self-controlled. 23. Steadfast. 24, forbearing. 25, forgiving. 26, grave. 27, self-satisfied. 28, possesses equilibrium. 29, magnanimous. 30, religious. 31, heroic. 32, compassionate. 33, respectful. 34, gentle. 35, liberal. 36, shy. 37, the protector of surrendered souls. 38, happy. 39, a well-wisher of devotees. 40, controlled by love. 41, all auspicious. 42, most powerful. 43, all famous. 44, popular. 45, partial to devotees. 46, very attractive to all women. 47, all worshipable. 48, all opulent. 49, all honorable. 50, the supreme controller. 51, changeless. 52, all cognizant. 53, ever fresh. 54, possessing an eternal blissful spiritual body. 55, possessing all mystic perfection. 56, possessing inconceivable potency. 57, innumerable universes are generated from his body. 58, the original source of all incarnations. 59, the giver of salvation to his enemies. 60, the attractor of liberated souls. 61, the performer of wonderful varieties of pastime, especially his childhood pastimes in Vrindavan. 62, he attracts living entities all over the universes by playing his flute. 63, he is surrounded by devotees, endowed with wonderful love of Godhead. 64, he has a wonderful excellence of beauty that cannot be rivaled anywhere in the creation.
Okay, you can just pause there. You can continue reading in a minute, my brother, but let's just take a breath. Let's just, now this is who, I mean, for one thing, it would be nice to meet such a person who has all these qualities, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Such a person does not exist in this material world, but such a person is Krishna. And if Krishna is non-different from Krishna is non-different, Krishna is his holy name. So we can associate with such a person or the person, Krishna, yeah? When we chant his holy name. And some of you remember going over these in our Nectar Devotion reading.
Yeah.
And we won't have we won't have time because we won't hardly get through the chapter. But in the Nectar Devotion, there is an elaboration on all of these qualities. Yeah, like beautiful features, like marked with all auspicious characteristics, extremely pleasing, effulgent, strong. Yeah, there's wonderful descriptions of these, and there's pastimes given. Yeah. One time I tried to memorize all of these, but I failed. I started many years ago, got some down, but then I didn't keep on with the learning process. But no, just nice that this has been brought up, because this is who we are associating with every day when we chant the holy name. Yeah. Any reflections on these or questions about any of these qualities? More will be described in the next paragraph, actually. And as we know, I think we're all familiar with the last four are possessed specifically by Krishna. Now, as Lord Narayan can possess 60 qualities, but the last four is unique to playful Krishna of Vraj, yeah? The Swayam Rupa from which Narayan comes from. Wow. Okay, you can continue reading, Maharaj Kishore.
All the expansions and incarnations of the Lord are partial. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. His qualitative expansions only partially display the nature of the Supreme Lord. Everything about the Supreme Lord Krishna is infinite, eternal, unlimited, and absolutely spiritual. He alone has a full 64 qualities, whereas his expansions, starting from Lord Narayana to Lord Ramachandra, are ornamented with only the first 60 of his transcendental qualities. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods possess but the first 55 of these qualities, and these only to the partial degree. Ordinary Jivas have just the first 50 visible in mere fractional degrees, like small drops. Only Krishna, even amongst all his Vishnu expansions, displays the preeminence of being a master of 4 exceptional spiritual qualities unique to him alone. If the Lord's qualities are compared to waves, then his pastimes mingle with these waves and continuously form, crest, and reshape themselves again, wherever they may be enacted, either in Vaikuntha, Golok, or on earth in Vrindavan. They are always transcendental. Hence, the Lord's name, form, qualities, and pastimes are of the same spiritual substance. The conditioned Jiva, in contact with the illusory material nature, experiences a state of consciousness diametrically opposed to Krishna consciousness. Because he identifies with his material body, a Jiva's name, form, quality, and activities are all separate and different from his real spiritual self. Once he is purified in his material contaminations, these 4 features take on the same spiritual nature and are non-different from him. But until he is purified and liberated by Lord Krishna's grace, the Jiva has to suffer the pains of false identification. With Lord Krishna, who is absolute and supreme, it is different. He never experiences such suffering. Shall I continue?
Yeah, you can just read 2 more paragraphs.
Okay. The holy name is the fountainhead. Of the 4 characteristic features, name, form, qualities, and activities, the Lord's holy name is the original because it avoids cognition of the other 3. Therefore, chanting the holy name is a prime religious activity of a Vaishnava. From the holy name gradually blossom the Lord's form, qualities, and pastimes. The entire panorama of Lord Krishna's pastimes is present in the holy name. You have personally declared that your name is the highest absolute truth. Can I stop here? I've got someone.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, any reflections on that or questions?
Basically, the holy name contains everything.
Yeah, it's like we could say, well, it's more than a bija. Just like in the Gayatri mantras, you have your bija, seed, which contains the whole mantra. So Krishna's coming in a form of letters, so it's not different from him. Yeah. So I like that where it's described how everything unfolds from the chanting. Where did it say that? Yeah, from the holy name gradually blossoms the Lord's form, qualities, and pastimes. And he mentions the whole panorama of Lord Krishna's pastimes is present in the holy name. Yeah. So in that sense, the holy name is the highest truth. It's all kind of somewhat inconceivable from the material perspective. In one sense, if Krishna is present, then the whole spiritual world is present, and and all Krishna's pastimes can be present in his holy name, and a devotee could be meditating upon these pastimes, and everyone in the spiritual world is present in the holy name. Radharani, the gopis, the gopas, the cows, the Govardhan hill. Again, it doesn't make sense materially, but that's the fact. When the jiva crosses over from ignorance to the realm, to the spiritual realm, it's done in the beginning and ultimately through the holy name. So you could say it's the holy name that's going to take you back to Godhead. Yeah, it's the holy name which is going to reveal your relationship with Krishna. Generally, it can come from a realized Siddha devotee, but generally such devotees may not be present. Yeah. So generally, revelation of your relationship with Krishna will come through what you're doing every day for 2 hours. Yeah. Or can come in kirtan of the holy name. Yeah. So the spiritual world and our spiritual emotions then will develop in conjunction with chanting the holy name. So our spiritual identity and our emotions in relationship to that identity will all become revealed through the absolute truth, which is, in the highest sense, is the holy name. So your name, that's why he said your name is the highest absolute truth. There is nothing higher than the holy name. That's quite exciting, isn't it? If you think of, in one sense, like materially speaking, this is a very material example. Let's say materialistic persons dream of, well, those who don't have wealth, I guess, they dream of obtaining great wealth, you know. They become very envious of persons who win the lottery or etc. win millions, you know. The point I'm getting at here is that all materialistic persons are dreaming of obtaining something. Yeah. But we can obtain the highest thing, each and every one of us. It's available to everyone. It's not like it's like a 1 in a million. Whoever takes to the chanting of the holy name and they follow the process, then all these wonders will be revealed in due course of time. Of course, we have to go through different stages. Nama Parad, Nama Bas, and then Sudana. Yeah. All right.
I was thinking like, to the degree one surrenders, to that degree Krishna reciprocates, right?
Yeah, that's all-pervading verse that yeah, and interestingly, is the process of surrender will come from the holy name.
Yeah, that's why I was connecting it, like to the degree we chant attentively, to that degree we would make advancement or realization will come. I was connecting that with that.
And then the holy name will be your guide.
Yeah.
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 Through the wonders of the spiritual world, the holy name will guide you. I think Bhaktivinoda Tagore, when he glorifies the name, he speaks of it in that regard. How the holy name itself became his guide.
Yeah.
And ultimate shelter. Yeah. So the material, and I like this. Perhaps Raj Kishore didn't read that, but I just read this last paragraph because it's on this page on the computer here. That's why some of you might be reading from the book. But in this last paragraph, this material nature has nothing more superior to offer than the holy name.
Oh yes.
Yeah. The holy name is the most precious treasure in the Lord's storehouse. So the Lord has quite a storehouse, but the most precious treasure of that is his holy name. The Jiva and the holy name are the only two supramundane objects in this material universe. So the Jiva is transcendental, as we hear from Bhagavad Gita. but we misidentify, as it said in the earlier paragraph, we identify with matter. Yeah. So are the only two supramundane objects in this material universe. Everything else is inert matter. The jiva is living here in a conditioned state of consciousness due to the Lord's will. Due to the Lord's will, the jiva initially was the only spiritual presence here. We have been counted among the jivas of the Lord's separated parts and parcels. Yeah,
Prabhu, can I ask a question, please?
yeah, please. I'm just looking at another paragraph here. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, last Saturday we went to Harinam, and it's so difficult even to give the holy name now. We were singing, but then 30% of the people that were there, they all had headphones. They weren't even listening to the holy name. So, you feel like, wow, you're here trying to give them something most precious, and they just walk past you like you're not there. And I was stood with my books when I had Bhagavad Gita, I had Science of Self-Realization and the Higher Taste. And I was like, please take a book, take a look. I was like, I didn't know what else to say. And there was this competition with me because these people, there were some Christians giving cards out. Everybody were taking the cards, but nobody was even touching these books. I felt like, where am I going wrong? It's quite disheartening when people don't even stop and ask, never mind, take your book.
Welcome to book distribution.
You feel so low, and you feel that, it's effort is wasted because the holy name is not even heard by half the people because they're listening to their own things.
Yeah, so this is wonderful. There's many lessons that devotional service teaches us. So especially book distribution, one of the lessons it teaches us is that we are completely dependent upon mercy of the Lord, and it may not always go according to our desire, according to our plan. But book distributions like that, maybe but actually generally, if you just keep at it, so to speak, you have some wonderful kind of wonderful transcendental exchanges with people.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't be surprised if people don't stop. We shouldn't be too surprised about that. And as you say, people are otherwise distracted. So what can you do? Just keep trying.
But now looking at us, other people have started, telling about their religion. So we've got Christians, competition for Christians. Then we've got Muslims, they give chocolates out and roses out. So people go to free things, and then I take fruits, so nobody's interested in fruits and nobody wants to pay for books. And so they just walk past you and you think, oh my God, this is so difficult trying to give books out.
Yeah. Was you with a group of people? Was you a group of devotees?
Yeah, there was about 20, 25 of us.
Oh, this was with Vaishesha.
No, we've got Anand Rupa Prabhu's team. So they come out and then they sit for a while, and we go set up a bookstall, and then all the devotees, we pack up the bookstall, and then we all go singing right down where the shopping mall is, and then come up again. And then we stop a little so other people come and dance or join in. Some people are quite good, but they don't want to know more than that. They'll just have a little dance and then they're back in their own world.
Yeah. Anyway, keep on trying. It's a thankless task.
Okay.
There's
no secret to success, is there not?
No, it's just to keep doing it.
Okay. So there's no special prayer or nobody special to bear in mind that please.
We should always pray. We should pray to Krishna. Mm-hmm. We should pray to Krishna. We should admit our dependence upon him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult because you can smell the non-veg smells. People are selling sausages and all this. There's drug smells. There's all sorts. Luckily, we've got masks on, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. But see, the result's up to Krishna. Mm-hmm. We're just serving Krishna. We're just humbly engaging in his service, and we leave the results to him. So sometimes the results is going to be some lessons in detachment for us, that we're just serving Krishna. The result is really, Krishna says to Arjuna, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. You're not entitled to the fruits of action. You consider yourself to be the cause of the fruits of your activities and never be attached to doing your service, you know.
You feel like a failure though, because you're trying to serve Krishna. But you know, the surprising thing is when we did Food for Life, there'll be a huge line to get the free food. But when they'll want the books as well. But as soon as you ask for a donation, they run away. No, I've got plenty of books at home. I've no time to
You've
eat.
got to understand that, as Vaishya Sheshik often says, that even if you touch the pavement, it's a great success. To actually manage to get out of your own comfort zone, so to speak, and to go on the street and face what you just explained. It's quite a passionate place. That's a wonderful success, and that's what Krishna's going to remember. Krishna's not. It's not as if Krishna's going to, as I say, in the Christian sense of the term, when he goes to the pearly gates. You was on book distribution that day. You was on book. You were kept on getting out on books, and you didn't distribute any books, so you can't come to the spiritual world. Krishna's so happy that you're trying. He's so happy that you're in the midst of that place you'd rather not be. You know, we're going off the track a bit. We're trying to get. Yeah, I had to face that in the Christmas marathon. There was Christians with a mega blaster, you know, screaming down the microphone. You know. Oh, God, I was distributing next to an Aberdeen steakhouse, and on one side, then you had the Christians screaming on another side. Then you had some guys who were selling bands for give money to people being stabbed in central London. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Everyone's still with us. We got on a book distribution seminar there. Let's come back. Yeah. So keep on trying, Mother. Keep on trying.
Okay, thank you.
Krishna's got some jewels in store for you if you keep on trying. You know. Okay. Anything else from here? This part here. Right, let's read on some more. Let's read some more. Let's have Kunamai, if you like to read.
Hare Krishna.
The holy
name.
Yeah, that's it.
The holy name can be categorized into two types, principal and secondary. By taking shelter of the principal names of the Lord, the Jiva obtains the essence of spiritual life. The principal names of Lord Krishna describe his transcendental pastimes and contain all of the Lord's spiritual excellencies. They are, for example, Govinda, Gopala, Rama, Sri Nandanandana, Radhanath, Hari, Yashamati, Pranadana, Madan Mohan, Shyam Sundar, Madhava, Gopinath, Brajagopala, Rakhala, Yadav, etc. Anyone who chants these names of the Lord, which depict his eternal pastimes, can attain the Lord's supreme abode.
Okay, so these are principal names, yeah. And that's the result that comes from chanting these names. Krishna has secondary names as well, which will be described now.
The Vedas address the Lord with names that categorize his affiliation with material nature. These are his secondary names. Example, Creator, Supersoul, Brahman, Maintainer, and Annihilator of the world, Yajneshwar, Hara, etc. Such names of the Lord are invoked by those pursuing fruitive activities and empirical knowledge. In keeping with the Vedic directions, the chanting of such names of the Lord will succeed in giving one piety and liberation. However, the most consequential result of chanting the Lord's names, love of Godhead, is to be attained only by saintly souls who invoke the principal names of Krishna, the pure name and Namabhas. If the holy name is chanted just once, though impurely, or it is simply heard, the sound penetrating within, then the living entity is immediately liberated, regardless of his high or low caste. This is a scriptural fact. And beyond this, when the holy name is chanted in a clearing stage, Namabhas, the stage when impurities are swept from the heart of the chanter, then the highest goal is attained after some delay. All the other auspicious and pious results, including liberation, can be quite easily achieved. But the attainment of love of Godhead is suspended for a while. In the clearing stage of chanting, the jiva is absorbed of all sins, and by following this path, he gradually reaches the highest stage of chanting, Sudhanam, or the pure name. One obtains love of Krishna only after reaching this stage of pure chanting. When namabhas is complete, all sins and anathas, unwanted desires in the heart, are dissipated, and the devotee chants purely. Then Sudhanam offers the devotee the highest spiritual success, love of Krishna.
Let's just pause there. Now, this subject of namabhas, as I mentioned, is the title of the next chapter. It's also known as the unclarified name. But it's quite amazing, and I can't, well, of course, materially, I cannot grasp or understand this sentence here. If the holy name is chanted just once, even impurely. So impure doesn't mean offensive. All right? It's just impure. Though impurely, or if it is simply heard, the sound penetrating within, then the living entity is immediately liberated, regardless of his high or low caste. Yeah. So when we go on Harinam, we are liberating lots of people. But the problem is, they don't stay liberated. They immediately keep on continuing with their otherwise materialistic activities, but the gate is open, the opportunity is there. And it says it's a scriptural fact, so we may not comprehend it or understand it. It's a fact.
And you call it as Sukriti, Anmukhi Sukriti?
Yeah, you could call that, yeah, like unknowing devotional credits.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you will at least pile up somewhere in their life.
Yeah, people really don't know what they're getting into when they start dancing with the Hare Krishnas on Saturday night.
Yeah.
They really don't know. They're really not aware that their material life has just begun to end. That's why, because devotees know this, isn't it? That's why devotees are so ecstatic when people joining the chanting, you know, because they know this person. All right, like I was in Harinam, I think it was on Saturday Saturday night, and they're dancing with one hand with a beer in one hand, and dancing. It's just blissful, knowing the tattva, knowing the science of Krishna and how it works. Bhakti Mukhi Sukriti. It's just wonderful to see. But
You said something about impurely, chanting impurely, not with offenses. What does that mean, impurely?
Well, that become more evident when we I think that's speaking about namabhas. Like there's a classic example of someone who chanted namabhas. He chanted, but it wasn't pure, but it wasn't offensive. And yeah, Ajamil. Is that what you said, Mabachandra?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ajamil. No, he was chanting the name of his son, Narayan, but he wasn't, and he was engaged in unlimited sinful. Actually, his whole life, you could say, was sinful, especially after when he took up household with a prostitute. It was sinful, but one of his sons was named Narayan, so he was chanting the name of Narayan. So while he's engaged in his sinful life, it was all his sins were becoming purified. But he didn't know that. He didn't deliberately chant the holy name, knowing it will free me from sin. That will be offensive, to commit sin on the strength of the holy name. And there's
like something like if we are chanting and we all of a sudden you think, oh, what am I going to cook for the Lord today? So you're chanting, but you're thinking, that is impurely, or is it namabhas?
Well, that would be well, if it's like a constant, if that inattentiveness is a constant aspect of your chanting, and you don't try to improve, or you don't even see the need to improve.
No, only for a few seconds the
Yeah,
mind goes,
then that's,
and then you come back.
yeah,
And then is
that-
that impure?
you could say, but it's not offensive. It's just the nature of the mind. Wherever it wanders, we should bring it back. And just trying to bring the mind back and hear the holy name, that's called namabas.
Ah,
That's
okay.
when impurities are swept from the heart. Now, the pure name is Sudanam. So until we're chanting Sudanam, there's always some impurity there. Yeah. So yeah, it's impure.
Thank you.
Sudanam is pure. So therefore, from Sudanam, Sudasattva Visheshatma. So from Sudasattva chanting, that's when Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes all become manifest. Yeah. But that will not happen without going through namabas. Yeah, the clearing stage. We have to clear out the rubbish. We have to clear out the junk.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have to clear out the junk, clear out the skeletons in the cupboard, as we said before. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Sorry, I joined now because I lost the time. Oh, in the
Well,
sense, I was all the time thinking it is tomorrow is this time. Anyway, it's okay.
yeah.
What to do? So, Prabhu, I wanted to just maybe a comment. Ajamil, because he has not done any Vaishnava parad, and it was very quickly because sinful reactions goes away straight away.
Yeah.
But if it is Vaishnava Prad, it would have been difficult for him. It won't happen so quickly. Is that right, Prabhu?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, he was. Yeah, there's no description of his blaspheming Vaishnavas or committing any of the 10 offenses, knowing.
Yeah.
So just like when people chant on the street, there's a verse, it's Sankatyam Parihatam Va Stovam Helanam Evava in the Ajamil Kanda, which describes even if one chants in imitation or chants for music only,
Even a mockery.
yeah, they will get the benefits of namabas.
Hmm.
Yeah. So for us, that means if we're trying to chant,
We also get Namabas. They also get Namabas.
yeah, that's namabas. So Ajamil, he didn't go back to Godhead, as it said here, after some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went and joined the nearest Hare Krishna temple after that near-death experience. He was banging on the door, let me in, I want to be a brahmachari.
Yeah.
So they let him in, and then he went through the stages of purification, and no doubt, probably he had to go through quite a bit because he would have been very repentant. The holy name would reveal the nature of his sinful ways. So he probably would have went through a lot of self-reflection and self-admonishment as well for his sinful past. The same happened with Jagai and Madai. Although they got the mercy of Lord Nityananda, it wasn't as if they were not. They were more or less immobilized with dread because of what they had done before they got the mercy.
Yeah.
And they had to, and it was a problem for them. So
In this context, Prabhu, can we say repentance, like throughout whatever devotional service? It's not that you keep doing mistakes, but still, certain things you did, you can take it in a positive way. The repentance is not to be like negative, but because only repentance can make you a grateful person, and that gratefulness always should grow.
yeah, so it's part of the process of spiritual life is to regret our previous materialistic activities, to regret our turning away from Krishna, ultimately, as well. It's part of the process. Yeah. But where we, yeah, what else you said? You said that in another, you said, yeah, positive way. So it's both. We're appreciating the opportunity we have been given.
Yeah.
And also we may reflect on our past.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
right.
will help us to appreciate more what we have at present.
Yeah, and also that helps you to bring others to Krishna consciousness, because when we know where we were, at least we are trying to be somewhere than what we were, not like what we were before. So that appreciating mode helps us to bring others to Krishna consciousness.
Well, yeah, well, it helps us to want to bring others to
Yeah.
Krishna consciousness, yeah, because it creates some compassion,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's 1728. A couple of minutes left. Perhaps is there any other questions or comments? We went in a slight different direction there, speaking about repentance and Ajamil. Because the next is a topic about, it's called, technical topic, it's called Vyavadhana. So that will be described. So there's two types of Vyavidhana that we're going to hear about. So one is disruption in syllables. And I leave it as a question to consider what's all that about. Of course, if you've got the book, you can read. There's two types of disruption in syllables, where the syllables are chanted, but if there's some gap between them, then one will not get Krishna prema. Anyway, I'll basically explain what the next part is anyway. Yeah. For instance, the example is given of a word called hatikari. So the first two syllables are ha, the last two syllables are ri. So hatikari. So if someone chants hatikari, they will not get Krishna prema. But if a Muslim chants haram, which means horrible in the Muslim language, they will get liberation. That's namabas. So there's an Islamic word called haram, which I think means terrible. Anyway.
It says haram means ha means O, and ram means ram. So they say oh ram, but they don't say it in that
context,
positive. Yeah. Yes.
I think the example was given of a Muslim being attacked by a boar. Haram, haram.
Yeah, because Prabhu, haram means prohibited.
It means what?
Prohibited.
Probably bida.
Prohibited.
Oh, forbidden.
Prohibited. Sorry. It's not coming. When they say haram means you're not allowed, it's prohibited. You can't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the word meaning.
Anyway, this is known as Vyavadhana.
Hati, what did you say? Hati?
Hatikari.
Hati, is it to do with elephant? No, hati.
It doesn't say, it just says it's a Bengali word. Hatikari. Hatikari. The first two syllables are ha, the last two are ri. It doesn't tell what that word. Any Bengalis out there? Perhaps the pronunciation is so bad that you don't recognize what I'm saying. Hatikari. Hatikari.
Hatikari.
You say hatikuri.
Hatikari. All right, so we're going to hear about this next week. We can perhaps untangle this a bit and understand very clearly what
about
all
the people
what it
Harry?
means.
Sorry,
All the people
She's
in
Bengali.
England called Harry.
say Bhavanga, just start again. I
I'm
didn't
just
hear the beginning.
saying, people with the English name Harry, is that Namabas?
If they what? The first part I missed again.
If their name is Harry, Harry, is
Oh,
that
yeah.
Namabas?
Yeah, that's Namabas. Yeah, Hari, Harry, Hari. Yeah, again, because it's transcendental sound. So transcendental sound has its effect, whether the person who hears or pronounces a sound knows it or not. It will have effect. Now, as far as they're coming to the stage of love of Godhead, that may take a few lifetimes. It's only when they're going to actually come in contact with a devotee and take up the process of chanting as given by the spiritual master. But still, it's going to give them, it's going to free them from their sinful activities. It's not going to give them love. Yeah, so that's none of us. So let's just see how much. Yeah, next week we'll finish this chapter, and it's only one page left. Then we'll begin Namabas. So we'll speak more on this Namabas, or the unclarified name. All right.
So, Mula Prabhu, so if a child is named Hari,
yeah,
is that offensive to say Hari, Hari, Hari?
No, if it's like if you, for instance, say, okay, my life is very sinful. I don't have much, and I'm going to continue this way. It's just the way it is. But actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to name my son Harry, so that actually I'll be free from all the sins that I commit. So that will be aparad, and you will not be free from the sins that you commit with the attitude towards the holy name. But as with Ajamil, he was not thinking like that. He just innocently called his name son Narayan. Yeah, and that's inoffensive. It's not pure, but it's namabas.
Oh, can I ask a question, Prabhu?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Devotees name their children like Hari.
Yeah.
Devotees like to name these names. That is because then they increase the chances of calling out to Hari.
Yeah, it's the same as the spiritual master likes to give spiritual names to his disciples.
So, yeah.
Same thing. It's for their benefit and the sound vibration.
So, but this won't be an offensive, right? This is not.
No, it's just so we can engage in kirtan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I remember one devotee. Generally, this day and age, some devotees do have dogs and pets, but generally, Brahmins won't. But one friend I know, he had a dog and he called it Goranga. So he'd chant Goranga in the park. Goranga, Goranga.
Yeah.
Come here, Goranga. It's not such the best to call your dog Lord Chaitanya. But anyway, Lord Chaitanya is very merciful. I'm sure
Prabhu, sometimes I hear people saying Ramo when they are chanting, not when they are doing Kirtan. I mean, in Kirtan they are doing Ramo. But sometimes I hear that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ramo, and I keep on thinking, why are they twisting the name of Ram or Hari rather than Hari?
Yeah.
Or rather than Hare, they say Hari or something like that.
Yeah. Now I think that will be discussed a bit later in Harinam Chintamani.
Okay.
As far as I remember that, for instance, devotees in Japan, by their language, then they cannot. I forget exactly what but they cannot chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra like we chant it.
Okay.
So it's often described that Krishna accepts the essence of what they're trying, what one is trying to do.
No, but these are the people who know how to chant. It's not that they have got the law and the rule, but they are changing it when they are chanting, you know, and they
Yeah.
call Ramo and everything, something like that. And I think
So like,
somebody actually started saying Hare Krishna, and I said, oh.
yeah, so it's up to us. At least we should, make sure that we're chanting the name correctly.
Yes,
I think
yes.
Janananda Maharaj quite amusingly was explaining on the initiation ceremony we had his impression of what he hears sometime in a name.
Yes,
Name. And I've heard it is.
There'll be shush, 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 shush.
So we do, it has to be, I remember Purnachandra was making this point that we have to chant so it's attractive to Krishna.
Mhm.
So sometimes we we can get quite mechanical. It's just a sound coming out. It's not Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sometimes the mechanics just take over, and one is not really, and is not really actually chanting the holy name properly.
Mhm.
So, especially if you notice, especially if people are, if you're senior or you're in a position to correct devotees, then we should. If we hear if one of our dependents or those who we're looking out for, looking over, and we hear them chanting not the name correctly, we should lovingly and nicely bring it to their attention and help to assist them to chant the name correctly. I remember, perhaps if we're getting a bit later, but just this point, I remember, I might have said this, I think I mentioned it before, but Jayapataka Maharaj, when he was in, before his health situation, one time he came to our temple and we had a japa workshop. So he came to the japa period and every one of us had to go and sit next to him and chant around.
Yes, yes.
We did.
I remember.
Yeah. And then he would listen to the chanting. And then he would give feedback after. It was very good. And he would correct many devotees. So yeah, so if you're seeing that in in your congregation or you're hearing that, Mother,
yes.
then you should nicely in a positive way and lovingly explain that.
This person is Bengali, and Bengali says we say Gorango, Gorango, and I thought, I said we say Goranga, but when they are chanting, when they start, I always sing loudly Goranga, Rama,
Yeah,
but it doesn't get.
Some things you might want to let go about pronounce some things, so you have to identify which is which you can actually because it is sometimes in Bengali, if you go to Mayapur, then it's the pronunciation is different. It might not mean it's wrong, it's just their dialect.
Yeah, but they say it like that and everybody starts singing, and then it becomes a norm that this is how we have to sing. And I said, no, this is not how we sing. We don't twist the name. Like Chandramoli Maharaj is very heavy on this.
Oh, really? He makes a point.
Yes, he makes a point. Yeah, so maybe next time he comes, I can ask him to give a lecture on this,
Yeah. You can you can see the lecture by speaking to him before. So
yes.
All right. It's a bit late now. Perhaps I've got another Zoom. I'm zooming again at 6 o'clock. So but thank you everyone for joining us for this second chapter. And we're finished next week for sure. And then we're going to chapter 3. Okay. Thank you everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Again, I have the power to end the meeting.